I heard rental properties are an excellent way to get cash flow, but could NFTs generate cash flow even better than real estate? We're going to talk all about this today. What's up, guys? This is DeFi Jay here, and one of the themes of this channel is this idea of cash flow. I want you to picture you not working at your 9 to 5 that you have to work at, but getting to the place where you can work the 9 to 5 that you actually want to work at. Statistics say that most people end up working at a job that they're not passionate about or happy about. And that's a really frustrating way to live. And I say that as someone that's actually done that. So in my pondering, I was thinking about options and what we've talked about, a couple of these options in the traditional finance space, like dividends, for example. I want to talk about real estate today. So a lot of people have been talking about real estate, and it makes sense, right? Find a property, buy the property, rent out the property, and have other people paying for your mortgage. This sounds great, right? I mean, at least on paper, except for one problem. You need a place to live too, and chances are you're either probably already renting a home or living in a home, and the idea of swinging two mortgages at the same time is pretty overwhelming. You could risk it and purchase a second home and rent that out, and you could be okay as long as you have renters. But the moment you lose your renter, you have to find a new one. And for that time that you're trying to find a new renter, the person paying the other mortgage that you have set up is you. And if you don't have enough money in the bank to prepare for that scenario like this, you could find yourself in a pretty dire financial circumstance. So, what are your other options? Well, you could purchase a REIT. REIT stands for Realty Investment Trust. These are publicly traded companies who offer stock, and what they do is they purchase a basket of real estate assets and use the rent money to pay dividends to their stock owners. They are very stringent requirements for these types of entities. Like typically, they have to pay something in the ballpark of 90% of their rental income that they receive back to their stockholders. But what's cool is that they're another option that offers cash flow in traditional finance markets. Now, what are the drawbacks, though, of a REIT? Well, for one, these are companies that solely hold real estate in their investment portfolios. So the real estate themselves that they hold can actually be a risk. Often, there can be fluctuations in property values, occupancy rates, and even geographical shifts in population that may make it harder for you to find renters. And not only that, but if the interest rates go up, this can also affect the property values themselves and even the occupancy demand. If you don't got occupants, you're not going to be receiving rent. There's also the risk of occupancy rate risk. The payouts on a realty investment trust rely on occupancy levels, and maintaining a steady state in realty occupancy rates doesn't always stay at the same rate. So this means that they can actually fluctuate up and also fluctuate down. This, when you look at it in reality, can make it hard to pay a stable dividend at a regular interval. And this is also why a lot of times you'll see realty investment trusts offer dividends that are really high, and then all of a sudden they drop like a stone because of this interval. Furthermore, geographic risk can also be a big impact. If the company that you're investing in doesn't have a diversified real estate portfolio and instead focuses all of their real estate into one area, this could be dangerous in terms of stability, because what happens if the properties in that area go down in value? The value drops, and now rent also drops as well. So those are some potential cons for REITs. But I still think REITs are pretty cool. But they come with a set of drawbacks or risks. And honestly, a lot of these risks, when you think about it, could also just apply straight up to owning a property and renting it out yourself. This can be really lucrative though, let me be clear, but it can also come with its own set of challenges. And I think it needs to be said that owning a home is not the be-all end-all that it was for our parents. So let's talk about some of the challenges that people have even when they actually own a home. There are a lot of things that are out of your control. And I say this as a homeowner myself. And these things that are out of your control, they can raise the price of your mortgage and monthly expenses. I'm actually going to tell you a story, a personal example of this. And let me be clear when I tell you this story, that everything in this story is true, and I did not make this up. So I want you to imagine that you have just purchased a brand new home. You're excited. You're living on your own. Things are going great. You got this home. It came with a solar system. You got solar. Your house is paying for its own electricity. And that's awesome, right? But here's the thing. Your state actually mandated that every new house must have solar in their new builds, and that the developers of these new homes have to include it. And here's the other thing. Your builder only put the minimum amount of solar panels that the state required them to put on. So what this means is that while you're living in your home, your first year, your solar is taken care of, your electricity bill. And but the reality is your solar panels, they're not producing enough energy to cover the energy costs that you usually have. And what does that mean? It means that at the end of the year, whatever amount of electricity has gone over the energy that your solar panels produce, you got to pay at the end of the year a bill called a true-up. And this can be in the thousands of dollars. And guess what? It always comes in December. When you need to buy all those presents, nope. Electricity company comes knocking at your door, says, nah, Christmas is canceled this year. Let's get that true-up bill settled and taken care of. So you continue living in your house and you got a beautiful home. Things are great. But remember that electricity bill? Well, remember that electric company we talked about? The company you have no control over because they effectively have a monopoly over the local electricity generation in your city? Well, this company actually set a bunch of massive fires around your state that cause massive amounts of the forest to burn down. So the electric company got a massive fine in the tune of billions of dollars. So of course, the electric company is going to do the right thing. They're going to sell assets and they're going to pay back this bill to all the people that were affected by, their negligence, right? Yeah, that's not going to happen. What they're actually going to do is they're going to take the money that they've been earning from you paying your electricity bill, and they're going to distribute this to all of their users. The problem is they don't have enough money to actually pay this billion-dollar fine. But the reality of what they do have is they have an unlimited amount of customers that they have to use and get their product back. And so what they'll do is they'll jack up the rates of your electricity. But no problem, because you have solar and it came with your house. And although you're paying, it's okay, because some of that rise in electricity costs is being offset. But here's the other thing. Remember those massive fires that caused billions of dollars of damage to the state that you live in? Well, all of that was insured by insurance companies. And the reality is they weren't expecting for this massive fire to happen. See, insurance companies make money based on the things that they're ensuring not happening to you. So a massive fire in the billions of dollars that burned up property, so many cars, all of these things, this natural disaster, caused by the electrical company, has to be paid back by these insurance companies. So these insurance companies have to pay back that, and they do. But the problem was, most of these insurance companies barely make it, or they go bankrupt in issuing out all of these insurance payments. And the main effect of this is that the insurance companies that originally insured you no longer want to do business in your state. And now they are either going bankrupt or they are leaving your state altogether. So collectively, they decide to perform a risk profile assessment of your state, and they determine that it's not financially feasible to insure people living in your state any longer, and they leave. So you get a notice in the mail from your insurance company who has taken care of your homeowner's insurance for years, and your car insurance, and all the other kinds of insurance that you have had with them. And they say that we are dropping you because we can no longer insure anyone living in your zip code. Now that's weird. I get the state, but the zip code. So then you look at a map of all the fires that took place in your state, and you realize that your zip code stretches 200 miles into the mountains and actually was one of the zip codes that had the fire go through it. And now you quickly realize that you are being seen by the insurance company as having the exact zip code of someone that lives in the fire zone. And because insurance companies are so run by AI and so nervous about properties being near the zip code, they won't even look and see that your house is nowhere even close to the fires, and they will just block you and deny you from getting insurance whatsoever. So now you got to shop around for car insurance and homeowners insurance and get new things. But the companies that are left have to adjust their risk profile for your home and your homeowners insurance. And now you're paying double the homeowners insurance that you did, because now there's effectively no competition and they can charge whatever they want for the people that are left over, because they're taking on a higher amount of risk for all these people left in the state. And they're going to jack up the price of your car insurance and your homeowners insurance. So congratulations, your cost of living just went way up. And yes, I know what you're thinking, but let me tell you, all of this actually happened. Oh, man, that felt really good. I needed to get that off my chest. So, great. Anyways, so where do NFTs fit into this whole scenario? Well, let's talk about what an NFT is. An NFT stands for non-fungible token. And an NFT is basically a token that's created on the blockchain, and it has a unique identifier. No single NFT is the same. They could have the same art, but the identifier is different, and there is no other copy of it. So it's actually a way of creating something that is unique on the blockchain. These are non-fungible, which means that they cannot be exchanged or stacked, right? So imagine you have $1, and I have $1 in this hand and $1 in this hand. These $2, if I swapped places with them, or I went to a store and I said, hey, I want to buy this pack of gum. It's 99 cents. Here's $1. And they say, okay, perfect. Let's pretend you took that $1 back and you gave them the $1 in your other hand. And you asked them, would you still accept this? And they said, of course we would. We accept all dollars. They're all the same. They all have the same value. That's because these dollars are fungible. But NFTs don't work that way. They are non-fungible. So often when you hear about NFTs, especially during the bull market that happened previously with crypto, they usually talk about it in terms of art or music. An artist can create a piece of art and sell this art. And what's cool about NFT art is they could actually designate that there's going to be a certain number of certified copies made by me, the artist, and each of those copies has a unique identifier. And they're similar. They could be the same art, but they're going to be different copies that are unique, kind of like they're certified copies. So with music, you could create a song and create an NFT of that song. And that person that buys your NFT would own your music, and you would have ownership of that song and be able to listen to that music whenever you like. You know, NFTs are liquid. They can be sold. And the thing about NFTs, they can also be programmed. So whatever a piece of art or a piece of music is sold, the NFTs could be created in such a way that the original creator will get a fee every time the art or the music is resold in a marketplace. And this is also known as like a royalty. So in the same way that music artists receive royalties every time someone listens to their song, effectively, an NFT can do the same thing with art and music. Now, this type of technology is pretty disruptive and makes a lot of people, I think, in regular spaces pretty nervous, because effectively, an artist wouldn't need a record label anymore because they would have this built into whatever they're selling on the blockchain. You could set up royalty fees to pay you every single time one of your art sells too. So, not to mention that other things could be tokenized on the blockchain themselves. Like, for example, someone create an NFT of their car and then go to a company that holds the keys to their car and actually holds the car. And then when they will only give those keys to the car and give up the car themselves to an individual that proves that they own the NFT, that proves that they have ownership of that car. They could do a transaction with that wallet and prove, I own this NFT. This is a proof of my ownership. I need my car. You know, this could also be done with a house. And I think there was a recent example of someone actually creating a digital version of their home and creating an NFT of it and selling that and saying that if you own the NFT of this house, you actually have ownership of this home. And so that's something that's kind of in development right now, but it kind of showcases the use case of NFTs and why they are actually pretty incredible pieces of tech. But NFTs can be risky too. Your NFT could be stolen. The price of BNB could go down, and therefore the value of your NFT would be worthless. This could also mean that the elephant token that it pays out falls in value as well. You know, and so let's jump into NFTs themselves and the ones that we're going to be talking about today. Because if you find the right NFT, it could be a game changer. And the ones that we're going to be talking about today are the unlimited NFTs by Elephant Money. So these NFTs are unique in the sense of they pay a royalty in the same way that the previous NFTs I've mentioned do. But in this case, they're a utility NFT, because what they do is they allow you the right to earn a share of the treasury and their profits for the elephant treasury, a share of the 1% APR of the elephant treasury. And the elephant treasury right now, I believe, is worth at this time about 60 million. And in previous months, it's been worth even higher. I think at our all-time high, it was close to $100 million in the treasury. So these NFTs, they pay yield in elephant token to the holders in the same way that that NFT royalty fee is paid out. That royalty goes out from the treasury and then gets distributed based on the amount of NFTs that you own to the NFT holders. This is really cool. So, you know, they are called unlimited. They can be staked for the share of the APR of the treasury. And the minting price for these NFTs was 1 BNB. And if we look at this, this right here, we are currently in round 2. So The cost of the NFTs actually goes up every round. Every time 10,000 NFTs are minted, these rise in value and they double. So they originally 1 BNB, now they've doubled to 2. And once the next 10,000 NFTs are minted, we reach 20,000, then the base price of the NFTs will rise to 4 BNB. So Elephant ecosystem also has a marketplace where these NFTs can be sold. So, and they pay out these rewards. So this is a really cool use case for an NFT. And the thing that's really neat about this is that these NFTs give ownership to a portion of the Elephant treasury, and they've been programmed to receive and allow a wallet to be able to claim funds from the treasury that gets sent to your wallet. So essentially, because they are one of one and they represent value, they may actually, you actually could compare these NFTs to functioning similarly to real estate. And think about it. Instead of occupying a physical space and buying a home in a physical space and owning the land, these NFTs occupy a digital space on the blockchain, and they prove that you have ownership over a portion of the treasury. The rent that you receive is the yield that's paid out from the treasury, and the value is measured in BNB. And the resale value for each of these NFTs depends on what round we're in. Every round, the value of the NFTs double. So let's review. An Elephant NFT represents digital ownership of a piece of the pie that comes from the Elephant treasury. This digital real estate pays Elephant according to the amount of NFTs that you hold. And this yield can be sold or held, hoping that it would appreciate in value over time. And finally, the NFTs themselves grow in value over time as each round mints a full 10,000 NFTs. A digital real estate where I don't have to find renters and just receive yield that's paid out every day. Personally, that sounds pretty fantastic. So, guys, those are NFTs. We talked about some of the drawbacks of NFTs. What are some of the drawbacks potentially? Well, the price of BNB could go down, and NFTs are valued in BNB. And if BNB goes down, the price of Elephant will go down. But if you're a believer in BNB and you believe that BNB is going to go up in the future and you're bullish over it, I mean, these NFTs are pretty great value because you're going to get the NFTs that appreciate in value, and then also they're going to be paying out yield in the Elephant token, which is an appreciating asset that grows over time. So to me, sounds pretty fantastic. Digital real estate where I don't have to find renters and just receive yield paid out every day. Pretty simple, pretty awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is DeFi J signing out. Have a great day.